Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is August 2nd, and I am absolutely delighted you have joined me. Before I go any further, when I was reviewing yesterday's video, I did a tremendous disservice to Nancy Pelosi, who I think is an amazing, amazing, accomplished woman. I kept referring to Mitch McConnell as, God, let's hope I don't screw this up again, as leader of the House as opposed to leader of the Senate. And I apologize just because I don't think, frankly, that the likes of Nancy Pelosi should be kind of stuck in any way or attached to the likes of Mitch McConnell. So for anybody who caught that, and I'm sure you all did because you're pretty darn attentive, the bunch of you, I just want to correct it. I know I get notices and comments all the time saying, we know you're Canadian, but you don't have to apologize for everything. But this really did feel like something I wanted to set the record straight on. So, there's that. Thank you for joining me. I have a question. And actually, this is a viewer question, but in light of the last couple of days, I think it's one that we might want to look at. So, come on down, because I have a question. And the question is, how do Michelle and Barack Obama feel about what's going on in the White House, what's going on with the upcoming election? How do they feel about what has transpired since President Obama left office? Okay, so Michelle and Barack Obama, Michelle and Barack Obama, Michelle and Barack Obama. Okay, so what this is showing me is that together they have great hope. They have great faith in the American people to literally steer themselves out of troubled waters into something that is smoother, calmer, and that reflects the highest and the best ideals of the United States and its people. Maybe it's their legal minds, I don't know, but they are very confident that justice will ultimately be served where justice needs to be served. They recognize that that's probably not going to happen under this administration, but they are confident that it will happen with the next Democratic president. They took some time to rest. It was stressful being in the White House. He was a popular president. He was beloved, I think, the world over. People, when he spoke, just sort of were like, oh, he makes so much sense. He's so calm. He just had a lovely, lovely rhythm about the way he communicated, as did she. But it was exhausting. I mean, Mitch McConnell and the Tea Party, they really seemed to enjoy just slamming him against the wall. So they really did need and take a period of rest. They needed some downtime. They needed some recovery time, and they have taken it. And then they got busy and started doing the work that would help put the Democrats back in power and correct some of the, I want to use the word injustices of the, of what was going on, and things that, had not been addressed, but he could address now. So they've been productive, they've been busy, and they are sad. Okay, they really are a little bit sad, along with great faith and great pride in the American people. They are sad for the American people that they had to and have had to put up with what they have had to put up with for the last however long it's been. I've honestly kind of lost track of how long it's been, because it feels like decades since Trump took office. But they are not without hope. They have great, great faith in justice being served, in the right people being put into positions of power and authority with the next administration. They too have been watching what Trump has been doing and how he has been behaving. And I think the greatest sadness is that it is such a negative and harmful way of behaving that is damaging not only the United States and the people of the United States, who are living with tremendous stress, very high anxiety. Things are spiraling out of control. I saw that Trump, shot off his mouth yesterday, and he wants to, put a bunch more tariffs on China. He doesn't know what he's doing. All those things make them sad, but they are just sure that this can get turned around, and that the tools are in place to safeguard, as best it can be safeguarded, the American people, the Constitution, and the country from Trump. There is sadness, of course, that all that he accomplished, all the goals that not only President Obama, but also First Lady Obama accomplished in their 8 years, have become beaten down, in some cases flat out revoked. And some things are more significant and more important, of course, than others, right? I mean, the environment, getting pulled out of the Paris Accord, that was hurtful. And because it was not only hurtful to the reputation of the United States, it was hurtful to the globe, to the planet, to the world. So there are some things that really make him very, very sad. But honestly, after a very short amount of time interacting with Trump, Barack Obama was very clear about exactly what kind of a personality he was dealing with. He understood that it went far beyond transactional. It was vindictive, it was cruel, and it was immature. Currently, I have to say, right now, currently, there is a wee little bit of sadness that as the Democrats are having these debates, and they are trying to sort of tarnish Joe Biden, that they have somehow included the accomplishments of President Obama into that. And they're, he's watching from the outside, and it's like, if they're not careful, they're going to start shooting each other. Instead of coming together, there's a lot of jockeying for positions, but some of it really does seem to be at the expense of his legacy, which frankly has already been punched in the face enough with Trump. But now, there's a lot of scrapping and scraping between people who should not be scrapping and scraping about the things that he accomplished. And so that is, it's a little bit of heartache, because it's just sad. It's just sad. There are Democrats who appear to have lost sight of the fact that really on a fundamental level, the messages are very, very similar. They may disagree a little bit this way or that way, and somebody's more left and somebody's more moderate, but fundamentally, the party needs to kind of hang together, because that's where their strength comes from. It comes from embracing not only diversity, but embracing all of the different attitudes and ideas. And for some reason, instead of being mindful and respectful, people are getting very aggressive. And as a result of that, they're sort of taking shots, maybe where they shouldn't be taking shots. So that's sort of a current, right? That's sort of how they're feeling literally in as a result of the debates that have been going on. They very much view it as, on the one hand, they want to stay quiet and not sort of endorse anybody, not really come out supporting anybody. They want to stay in the background for right now. First of all, again, way, way, way too early. We are, however, 14, 16 months away from that election. They are busy doing what they are doing behind the scenes and accomplishing that which they, feel is important and necessary to help move the country from this place it is in to a more powerful place. They're very mindful of the fact that they are incredibly popular. They are beloved. They are well liked. And again, not just in the United States, but really, globally. And they're working quietly and diligently behind the scenes. Do not expect them to make any sort of a blatant statement about the elections, about their preferences. They're going to stay out of it. If they come forward, it will be sort of very close to the end, because they view themselves as private citizens. They recognize that they are beloved and they are respected, and indeed they are powerful. But they very much view themselves as private citizens. And they feel like the American people need to rise up, fight a good fight, win this battle. And I almost want to say that their contribution to the next election is going to be much more behind the scenes than out in public. They're going to be able to accomplish more if they sort of kind of stay a little bit quiet, certainly for the time being, and let just things unfold. Okay, right now there's a huge number of people who are trying to win that nomination in the Democratic Party. That needs to get thinned out, refined a little bit. And, going forward, as I said, closer towards the election or towards the, the end of that election cycle, as it gets really close, you may very well see them becoming more active and, more public. But for now, there really is a sense that all they would do if they sort of got involved is just sort of, in some ways, okay, so if they became too public now, in terms of, doing things towards an election, there is a sense that they would almost trigger a nostalgia that might actually end up being a little harmful to the current people who are running, because in some ways, right now, there is a sense almost that nobody could measure up. Nobody could take their place. And the American people have got to continue to come to terms with the fact that he did his 8 years. He accomplished a lot of things, considering a lot of ridiculous and unnecessary opposition. But it is time for others to shine. It is time for other people to take the center stage. It is time for someone else to govern in their own way, with their own style, and basically not be in competition with the past, which seems to me to be a fair and reasonable, attitude. They are completely confident that justice and the rule of law and the truth will stand in judgment of that which is evil, that which is corrupt, that which is dirty, and that this truth and strength is going to win the day. Yeah. So again, that sort of sense of just staying a little bit behind the scenes, helping where they can help. It would not surprise me at all to find out that the Obamas have individually and probably jointly as a couple been talking to many people who are currently in that race and offering support and insight and whatever help and assistance they can. But again, it's quiet and it is behind the scenes. They are, they are content with where they are at now. They are at peace with the life they have. Michelle is absolutely embracing and standing literally like a goddess in her power, in her truth, with her story. And she has great longevity, but honestly, I think anybody who is hoping that she somehow will insert herself in politics is going to be disappointed. She knows where her strengths are. And that is just not a place that she actually feels that she could do the most. She feels that the work she's choosing to do now and the things that she will do over the evolution of the next year, 2 years, are far, far more productive and helpful and beneficial than inserting herself into a political arena where she's not comfortable. It's not her thing. And so let her continue to gain her strength and gain her momentum. In hindsight, people will be able to see the incredible contributions that she makes. But they're quiet and they're behind the scene. She is inspirational. That's what her gift is. That is her strength. She inspires people to be so much better. She sees the good where other people look and search and dig for the negative. Let that be her strength and let that be her legacy. She has a long life ahead of her, and she is going to be contributing to the American people, to the country, and literally to their psyche for years and years to come. They are just that couple. You know, they really are that couple. And it very much feels like they're on the same page about what needs to be done, what they can do, where they shouldn't overstep. And they are in this together to help correct what has happened. And, you know, I have heard President Obama say that in some ways he thinks he was a few years too early. And, you know, I can understand why he feels that way, and it may even be true. But what has happened as a result is that the United States has had the opportunity to really delve deep and figure out who and what they want to be for themselves and who and what they want to be as they present themselves to the world. And that is not necessarily, you know, a bad thing. Sometimes you really, really do have to clean everything out so you can bring in a fresh attitude and bring in new, clean energy. His time was his time, and he accomplished so much more than was his intention when he incarnated back onto the earth. He had several goals or several sort of things he wanted to accomplish, and he has accomplished them and so much more. He knows that the work isn't done. There's lots to do. There's lots of minds that still need to be, you know, I wouldn't say changed, but perhaps enlightened, brought forward, brought into the circle. And he has great confidence that the government going forward will be able to bring a unity that even he was not able to accomplish. And finally, it's going to be in hindsight. And I don't mean a couple years. I mean 5 years, 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, where people are going to really, really gain some clarity about how significant the changes he made and the impact of them over time have been and will be for the United States. So, you know what? They're good, they're busy, they're productive, they are really looking forward to a change in government and a change in who sits in the White House. And they know it's going to happen. They're very confident that it's going to happen. And all that they do going forward, and honestly, in the last, 8-10 years, really is going to continue to bear fruit for the American people. Yeah. It's good. Okay. So, I'm hoping that my viewers have found that helpful. I'm hoping that for the people who requested the reading, that satisfied whatever insights they were looking for. I, again, thank you for subscribing, for liking. Your comments are brilliant. I, again, apologize to Nancy Pelosi. Feel really bad about that. But I know she is a magnificent woman who absolutely would not hold a grudge. So for now, take care, be well, and we'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.